The first ever CS2 major is mere hours away from kicking off, so you know exactly what that means. Yes, it's another chance for us to be netting a diamond PickEms coin. I'm going to be guiding you through all 3 stages of my PickEms predictions, courtesy of HLTV and GGBet. I say yet another diamond coin. I'm going to be upfront with you guys. I've seen a lot more golds than I have diamond in my previous PickEms, but that's all changing. We're in a new dawn, we're in a new era, we're in a brand new iteration of Counter-Strike, the first ever CS2 major, the first time we're gonna be in Copenhagen with a major. And as you can probably see, a little bit of a shake-up in terms of the format of the PickEms. We're looking at picking 2 teams now, advancing 3-0. 2 teams unfortunately eliminated 0-3, and then 6 teams will be advancing either 3-1 or 3-2, which does affect how I'm going to be approaching this, because I was always the kind of person that in previous PickEms, I'd always put kind of a wild card in the 3-0. I didn't really see too much of a point of putting a favorite in that 3-0 position, because more often than not, they drop a series here and there, and kind of felt a little bit wasteful putting them in that position. But with this, kind of changes things, kind of changes my approach, kind of makes me look at the bracket, theorize, maybe, you know, simulate a few different options that are going to be going down. Undoubtedly, there's kind of 5 names that are shouting out to me: your Cloud9, your ENCE, your Freya, your Heroic, and your Eternal Fire. And I'm so confident in EF that I'm going to put them immediately in that 3-0 position. Their first game is going to be against the Mongols, and then if my predictions are correct, they're going to be going up against Saw. Then that would potentially leave us with an ENCE versus Eternal Fire best of 3, which I think Eternal Fire should be winning. I think they've been looking really good since the last season of ESL Pro League, when they finally kind of committed to a 5-man roster and stopped the switching in and out, and Wicardia has been looking incredible. So I think with what we've seen in the main Katowice, I think this is theirs for the taking. I think they're going to be one of the 3-0 teams. Now, Cloud9, a popular pick for the 3-0s, but Cloud9 are the reason I have trust issues. Anytime I say Cloud9 should be doing something, surely this is Cloud9's time to shine, they do exactly the opposite. So I don't think they're going to be making it through 3-0. I think they should be making it through. It would be a travesty if they didn't make it through to the next stage of the major. But I think they'll most likely win their first game versus Ecstatic, and then we've got a game versus Freya if my bracket simulation is correct. But then they go up against Heroic, potentially, in a best of 3. And I'm going to give that one to Heroic. Might sound crazy, but I was super impressed with them in Katowice. I love the way Kixon leads this squad, right? And we all know the kind of work he can do at majors. Speaking of which, ENCE. Obviously talking about some Danes, one Dane in particular, in Glaive. I think, you know, it's almost poetry. If he could help the Polish guys get into their hometown arena back in Kato, surely they want to be doing everything to get Glaive back in front of a Danish crowd. Obviously, this is just the first stage. Doesn't mean they get to make it or play in front of that LAN crowd in the elimination stage. That's saved for the playoffs. But I think their chances are looking good. If we just look at their first game, that's of course going to be up against Imperial. I think that's a no-brainer for them. Obviously, with the recent news that 9 Pandas sadly won't be able to attend the event, that leaves ENCE versus Gamer Legion. And I think ENCE should be getting the better of them. So I think they'll make it through 3-1. Furia. Furia is always a tricky one. I mean, their first game is against Legacy. I think they should be winning out that one. But consistency and Furia don't always go hand in hand, which is crazy because you look at Quesarado, he has to be up as one of the top 3 best players at this stage of the tournament, right? It's just a case of him having the help and support he needs to be able to pop off and get it over the line, right? Because sometimes you look at the results when no one's really showing up. It's not pretty. But I think they should have what it takes to make it through to the next stage, albeit probably in a 3-2 fashion. Let's move down to the 0-3s. Let's move down to the eliminations. Vision is calling out to me, particularly because of their first game against Heroic, where unfortunately I think Heroic will get the better of them. Great achievement getting to this stage of the major, but I think this is where their run probably ends. In a similar vein, this is where I think Legacy will also probably go 0-3. I don't know whether I'm just completely overlooking them as a team, but logic is prevailing in my head. Freya should be taking them down, and then, I mean, the road doesn't get too much easier for Legacy after that. Recency bias, massive, absolutely huge. Saw, obviously making it through the Blast Showdown. Absolutely grueling event, by the way. I know, I can hear you guys now screaming, it was online, it was online. I don't care, I think it's more about the mental game. I mean, what better way to be getting a confidence boost, getting a good mentality than already knowing you have a spot at, you know, a top tier LAN tournament. What did I think for Apex? I do think they should make it through. Mongols. I'm so tempted, I'm so tempted. They've got, obviously, Eternal Fire as their first best of one, which I don't think Mongols will win. But if I move them up there and I put Mongols here, because after that, hear me out, their second best of one isn't looking too bad, which would probably leave them playing, then we got Saw. Yeah, but that makes sense. If Saw go through 3-1, then Mongols could go through 3-2. I think this makes sense. I was gonna say this is a first draft, but I'm somebody that likes to go with my gut. I always do that when I'm picking my fantasy team. I hate changing things because then if you change it and your first outcome actually happens, you're always just gonna be looking at yourself and going, should have stuck with my gut instinct. And I trust my gut, there we go. Pick saved. But let me know if you agree with my picks down in the comments. Let me know exactly what you guys are predicting, and yeah, hope you enjoy the opening stage of the PGL Major.